Welcome to Finance Blueprint. My name is Nico, and in this video, we're going to break down exactly what would happen if you started investing $100 every single week for 10 years. Most people overestimate what they can do in a month and underestimate what they can do in a decade. We'll look at how much you'd invest, how much your portfolio would be worth today using real market data. Stick around because this just might change how you think about building wealth forever. $100 a week doesn't seem like much. It's dinner out, a few subscriptions, or a pair of sneakers. But over time, it adds up, especially when it's invested. That's what makes this example so important. A lot of people think they need to wait until they're making more money to start investing. Or they assume it only makes a difference if you can throw in thousands at once. But the truth is, most of the progress comes from doing something small, consistently over a long period of time. This isn't about guessing the right stock or catching the next trend. It's about staying consistent with a proven strategy. And if you're young, this is where you actually have the advantage, not because of how much you can invest, but because of how much time you have for that money to grow. So let's take a closer look at what would have actually happened if you started back in 2015 and what that same $100 a week would be worth today. To understand the potential of consistent investing, let's set up a straightforward scenario. Imagine starting in January 2015, you decide to invest $100 every week into an S&P 500 index fund. This approach is known as dollar cost averaging, investing a fixed amount at regular intervals, regardless of market conditions. Over 10 years from 2015 through 2024, this strategy would have you investing a total of $52,000. Now let's examine how this investment would have performed. The S&P 500's annual total returns during this period were as follows. Despite some years of negative returns, the overall trend was positive. By the end of 2024, your consistent weekly investments would have grown significantly. So now that we've set the rules, 100 invested every week starting in 2015, let's look at what actually happened. Over 10 years, you would have put in $52,000 of your own money. Just steady weekly contributions, nothing flashy, but thanks to the performance of the S&P 500 during that time, which included both crashes and recoveries, your portfolio wouldn't be sitting at $52,000. By the end of 2024, your account would have grown to around $90,000, and that's without doing anything other than staying consistent. That's nearly $40,000 in gains built off a strategy anyone can follow. No stock picking, no crypto, no leverage. Just patience and a long-term mindset. And here's what's wild during that 10-year stretch. The market wasn't even perfect. In 2018 and 2022, it dropped. There were dips, corrections, even full-on panic. But if you kept investing, those dips worked in your favor because they let you buy more shares at a discount. This is where dollar cost averaging really shines. You're not trying to guess when to buy. You're buying every week, no matter what the headlines say. And over time, the math just works in your favor. That's how you quietly build wealth, not all at once, but week by week, year after year. So what can we take away from this? First, you don't need to be rich to start building wealth. $100 a week isn't nothing, but it's also not a huge amount for most people over time. What matters more than the amount is the consistency. Second, you don't have to know everything about investing. You didn't need to study charts or follow the news every day. You didn't even have to know what companies were in the S&P 500. You just had to keep showing up and investing no matter what the market was doing. Third, time is your biggest advantage. The sooner you start, the longer your money has to grow. If you're in your 20s or even your 30s, this is where you actually have the edge because compound growth needs time to work. And finally, market drops aren't always bad. They feel scary in the moment, but if you're consistently investing, those dips actually help you. You're buying in at lower prices, which means you're getting more value for your money. This strategy won't make you rich overnight, but it's one of the most reliable ways to build wealth without needing to gamble, chase trends, or get lucky. Let's bring this back to you. If you're watching this thinking, I missed my chance, you didn't. The point of this video isn't to say, look what you could have had. It's to show what's still possible if you start now. The truth is, the next 10 years are going to pass no matter what. The question is, do you want to be 10 years older with a portfolio that's growing? Or 10 years older still wondering when to start? Even if you can't do $100 a week right now, that's okay. Start with $50. Start with $25. What matters is building the habit and getting your money working for you. Because the hardest part isn't investing, it's committing. Once you automate it, it becomes part of your life, like paying your phone bill, except this bill pays you back. This isn't about getting rich fast, it's about having options later. More freedom, less stress, and the confidence that your future is being built quietly in the background. So ask yourself, what can you start with this week? What would your future self thank you for? You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be perfect with money. But the one thing you can control is getting started. Consistent investing isn't flashy and it won't go viral, but it works. Quietly, reliably, and over time it can change your life. This video was just one example. But the bigger takeaway is this: wealth is built through simple actions, repeated over time. So if this helped shift your mindset or gave you a clearer path forward, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Finance Blueprint for more content just like this, and drop a comment below. How much are you investing each week, or how much do you want to start with? Thanks for watching. I'm Nico, and I'll see you in the next one.